Hi everyone, how are you? Today I'm going to be doing something a bit different. I'm going to be talking about 5 different things that I'm going to be doing in 2022, but they're all things that have been inspired by different YouTube videos that I've watched in the last sort of several months. So one of the first things I want to do is to produce some A+ content. What is A+ content? Well, it's an additional way that you can showcase your book on your main sales page. So that's the page where your description is. And up until quite recently, we kind of relied on having the look inside feature of our book for people to check our interior pages and see what the book was like. But unfortunately, on a mobile device, you don't get that feature. So it means that much of the time people won't be able to see the inside of your book. But if you have A+ content, you can showcase the inside of your book by looking at various pages. You can add descriptions, you can add various photos, and then you can also link to your other books as well. So if you have lots of books that complement each other, for example, which is the case with me, you can have different images of your other books available. And then obviously people can go through to your author name or your author central page and be able to buy some of your other books as well. I have been really slack at creating any A+ content, and it's been quite a while now since it's actually been available. But I was inspired to work on this by Nuria Corby from The Home Boss, and she has inspired me to definitely go ahead and do it because she released a mini course recently on A+ content, and that provides some Canva templates that you can use to actually showcase your books and create your A+ content page. Another reason why I wanted to do it is after I watched Nuria's video on A+ content, I went to have a look at some of my competitors and noticed that lots of them now have A+ content. So that was another kind of kick up the butt for me, because you're always going to have your competitors coming up behind you, and no matter how many reviews you've got, if someone has a really great A+ page or a great sales page and product page, and you'll be able to see the interior pages and it looks really professional and really great, there's no reason why someone's not going to choose that book over yours. So if you're interested in A+ content but you're not really sure how to get started, Nuria does have a mini course that she created recently, so I will leave that in the description, and also she has created a video around that, so I will link to that below as well. If you've already created A+ content, please let me know in the comments. Do you think that it's helped you? Has it given you a boost, or do you think it's been a waste of time? Either way, let me know. So the second things I want to do this year is improve my ACOS with ads and also run more ads. And I've been improving ads over recent months, but my ad spend is still relatively small in comparison to how much I make on KDP, and I feel I'd like to branch out more with it. So when I saw Chris Raydog, who is another YouTuber I'm sure you're familiar with, when he said he was releasing a free ads course, it reminded me again that I wanted to step up my own advertising game and create some of my own content on ads as well, because so many people have asked me to create videos on ads. But of course, Chris's course is free. Chris explains everything incredibly well. I went through every video lesson myself and checked it out, and I completely agree with how he approaches things. Everyone does ads differently. I don't think there's one strategy that is like everyone follows and they're a success. The thing is, with books, it really depends on so many factors, including the niches that you're going into, the type of book it is, how much competition there is, and what keywords you're targeting, and so many other things. So there isn't one right way when it comes to ads, and I really think it comes down to having to experiment yourself. If you are curious about ads, I think he gives some great advice, because he also talks about going into it cautiously and not going in with an aggressive approach when you're just starting out, which I think is important when you don't have very much of a budget. If you do have a bigger budget, it's different because you have more to play with and you can learn faster if you're prepared to spend more money. I did what Chris advises. I personally started slowly, very slowly, And now I've gradually built up, so I do go in a little bit more aggressively than I did at the beginning. Initially, I was terrified, to be honest, of kind of, because you just don't know how much money the ads are going to spend. And luckily with Amazon ads, it generally, the amount you spend won't be crazy. It's not like doing Google ads or something. And also you can have a budget. So you can budget each ad for like $5 or $3 a day, whatever it is. And you won't go above that. So you know that you've got that kind of that safety net. You have a safety net. So a side note about Chris Raydog, he's actually helped me a lot with tips on YouTube. I remember this one particular video that I will link to in the description as well, which inspired me to create a book that ended up being one of my top 10 books over Christmas. I really like how, with some YouTubers that you can take advice directly for them and really make it work for you. And that's what happened in this case. So the third thing is that I want to repurpose my content with KDP by selling Canva templates and printables on places like Etsy or on my own Gumroad store. We've already got all of these interiors. Why shouldn't we try and adapt them to use in other ways? I don't really believe in ready-made interiors, so I don't want to sell them just as a PDF, which is why I had in my mind I'd quite like to sell them as a Canva template, which people can go in and actually edit templates themselves and create something unique, rather than just, a million people having the same interior, which I really don't think is a good idea. The thing that actually encouraged me to do Canva templates, though, was a course that I did, and the course was by Yadzia. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I think it is, from the Online Template Shop channel, which I'll link to below. Yadzia did a course called Digital Business Startup, and it's actually one of the best courses that I've ever done. I just really love her teaching style. She's just really friendly and laid back, and it feels like she's talking to you like a friend. I've definitely bought many courses in my time, and sometimes it just feels like there's a little bit missing. There's a part missing, and it might be something technical, for example. And when it came to Canva templates, there were just certain aspects that technically I wasn't sure how to do, and templates in general, and digital products to sell on Etsy, and how to do mock-ups and things like that. Even though I thought maybe I could just do these templates myself without a course, when I got the course, it was so helpful, and actually I learned things that I never even knew that I needed to know. And that's the great thing about a course sometimes, where you go in and you're enlightened by some of the information you didn't even realize you needed to know. With this particular course, it's not just about templates. There are a bundle of courses within it. There really is a ton of information in there. If you're interested in selling digital products on Etsy, such as printables or templates, then I would highly recommend this course. So number 4 is, it might seem like a simple one, but it's definitely one that I need to do. And that is to work on my business every single day. And this isn't going to be for everyone, but for me, routine is so important, and I find it incredibly easy to fall out of a routine and just be off track. And the hardest part for me is starting as well. It's actually just getting started in the day. If I don't do something, I could just spend the whole day and not do any work. So it's just kind of forcing myself to do that initial thing. So if I plan, right, I'm just going to do this one thing today, that will generally lead on to multiple other things. So this was inspired by Paddy from Stacking Profit, who did a video a while back of a Chrome extension that he uses, which is totally free, and it's called To-Do List. I think it's called it looks like it's Todoist, but it's where you can basically create to-do lists. I'm a list person, but unfortunately I'm the kind of list person that writes it on little scraps of paper and on little notebooks and things like that, and then I completely forget about them. When it comes to just simple lists, the to-do list app is just really useful. And also you get a kind of satisfaction from ticking off things. The other issue, though, is it's made me acknowledge that I always have far too many things on my to-do list. If you could just decide to do one thing for your business, usually you can manage that, as Paddy always says about your income producing activities. I think that's it, or something along those lines. So the things that actually help you to generate an income are the things that you need to focus on primarily. So number 5 is to avoid shiny object syndrome. And this might seem like a bit of a contradiction because I've just talked for a while about all the different things that I need to do this year, but I've actually narrowed this down a lot. So I was inspired to talk about this from Rachel Harrison-Sund, who has recently published a video on shiny object syndrome. It was a short while ago. Because there is only a certain number of hours in the day, if you just spread yourself too thin and you have too many tasks and too many goals, you're never going to be able to reach that. You need to be able to really hone that in and focus on the things that are going to make a difference to you. If you're going to be starting something from scratch, this is going to take you much longer to gain traction with. And Rachel talks about whether whatever this new shiny opportunity is, will it get you closer or further away from your present goal? And I think that's such an important question to ask. So there are a number of things I want to do this year, for example, such as repurposing my interiors for stuff on Etsy. But that's already taking work that I've previously done and trying to expand my income on another platform. So I don't really see this as a shiny object. By contrast, I did have this idea recently that I'd work on some of my old niche websites again and could potentially start a brand new YouTube channel on a completely different subject. And while that could be interesting and maybe it could be successful, I really need to start focusing on the things which are going to grow my current business rather than starting something completely new from scratch. I think some of the things I'm going to try, such as repurposing content for Etsy, is a little bit more of a risk because I don't know if that's going to really bring me in much additional income. And it might take me a lot of time and it might not lead to any significant results. And because of this, I'm going to follow the advice that Rachel actually gives in this video. What she suggests is allowing only 5 to 10% of your time to investigating a new shiny object. Typically, I'm really, really bad at time management if I'm not careful. So 1 week I'm really productive, and then that's followed by potentially months of really struggling, being disorganized, procrastinating. I don't know if any of you relate to that, but it is amazing how much you can achieve when you do narrow your focus. And that's where I've always had the most success. When I started KDP seriously, I really did focus on that 100% for weeks and months. So that's about it anyway. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. I feel like I've been inspired so much by different people on YouTube and they've really helped me along the way. So I feel like it would be good to give something back and give a shout out to them as well. Let me know how you're doing this week in the comments, and I will speak to you again very soon.